You are live.
Aloha, everyone, and welcome to Rise Capital Investments. We are going to go over goal setting and how you can make 2024 your year. My name is Zasha Smith, and I'm with my partner Harmony. I'm a local mom here on Maui and a former engineer who turned into a full time real estate investor. I grew up in low income housing, raised by a single mom, and wanted something different for my life. I was working 60 to 70-hour weeks, doing huge $1 million projects, and decided in 2019 that I wanted to get out of the rat race. So I started looking into investing, bought a flip, then bought a rental, and fast forward to today, I've made over $1 million fixing and flipping. I have a $5 million rental portfolio on my own and own over 500 units with partners and started getting into commercial projects. All because I started setting goals, holding myself accountable, and took consistent action, as well as had a great group of people around me.
Yep, that's what it's all about. Hello, everyone. I'm Harmony. I'm a wife and a mother and a multitasker. I think I thrive off of staying busy. I have over 8 years in the medical field. I transitioned into being a contracted caseworker with the military for over 13 years. In 2021, our family decided to move from Maui to Utah to start a new venture so we can start to accomplish our goals. So we went and created our family tree landmark company. And in a short 7 months, we hit our 3 year goal. We thought we were going to be doing what Zasha with the fix and flips and buy and holds. We still have a few buy and holds, but ultimately we did over 14 million in investment debt loans. We also have general partnerships in properties over 500 units. And in this last year, which I love and am passionate about, we started a virtual assistance program in Cote d'Ivoire, Africa, with our partner. And we just love being able to give back to our communities and other communities and just help others accomplish their goals. That's huge for us. So thank you guys for joining us.
Now, one of the biggest things that helped me to really achieve goals was to take a step back. I was always one that just one foot in front of the other, and I still am like that to this day. But what really helped me see results is to figure out why I'm doing this. Why do I want to change? And really get that emotion and drive in me to where it would push me back through all those hard times, because there are going to be times where, you're like, it's the beginning of the year, it's January. I want to, lose 10 pounds and, start investing. But if you don't have any clear path to where you want to go or a strong reason why you want to make it happen and a timeline, then you definitely are going to struggle with keeping that motivation. So thinking about why you want to set these goals. Do you want generational wealth? Do you want to retire early? And do you want financial freedom to work when you want, where you want, and have a freedom to spend time with your loved ones? So that helped me to kind of put things in perspective, but also give me way more motivation to complete my goals. And so what I started doing is setting specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. These are called SMART goals. And you really want to sit back and think, okay, what results do I want? What reasons do I want to do these things? And what resources do I have? And what responsibilities do I need to put onto myself so that I can actually achieve these goals? We can go over in the next few slides, what examples of things that we did that helped us. And so Harmony is going to take it over.
Yeah, so you want to start with creating a vision. That was something that was big for us once we moved and we got settled. It's like, okay, what do we really want? We want to try to be really thoughtful with our intentions and getting out there, like really working towards those goals now, because we both left our W-2s, just trying to make sure that we're doing the best we can and making good use of our time. So setting a good vision, you want to reflect on personal or collective values, what principles and beliefs that you have that are most important to you, and then consider what drives you. What is your mission? If it's for you as an individual or for you and your spouse or family, what impact do you need it to make or want it to make? You got to write down those goals. Something that we all do with, especially within our group, is we write down our goals for specifically. You have your family goals, you have your marriage goals, you have your business goals, and you want to keep things separate in the sense to where it doesn't feel so overwhelming. Write down those goals so that you can give it life. I always say you want to give it life. You want to make them visible, put them up there. You want to create an action plan once you have those goals established. Create an action plan on all the little steps, because then it doesn't seem so overwhelming. You can see, you can acknowledge those wins on every step you take, because it just gets you closer and closer. Because if it is like the gym, you can go and sign up, after New Year's, get that membership, and then you never go. And then maybe 3 months later you go. So it's kind of just putting it in front of you, always getting those goals with those little action steps, so you can see the little steps you made. Maybe the next week you went to the drive, you drove into the parking lot, didn't go in, but it's a next step. You got closer every single time. So that's huge on creating your action steps to make sure that your brain is starting to give it life, you're acknowledging it, and you're putting it out there in front of the world. And that will help you create that next path in your journey with making sure you accomplish all of them.
And so, what really helped me along the way, like Harmony mentioned, is having a really strong vision. For me, I'm a visual person. So I get bogged down by I definitely set all the steps that I need to achieve: daily goals, weekly goals, monthly, quarterly. But what really hits me is something that, tugs on my heart, which is my family. And so what I like to do is on my cell phone, it's still the same picture, is I like to put I am statements. And what really helped me going through a few books like Vivid Vision, I really liked Atomic Habits, and really reading on how to create and visualize things that will help me achieve my goals was had a huge impact on what I did. And so envisioning yourself as a person you want to be is integral. Like, think about, okay, I'm focused, I'm confident, I want to be a multimillionaire by age 40, just putting some big audacious goals out there, but being specific in what you actually want to accomplish is going to help you get there. And also having like a visual picture of what does that look like? What does this mean to you? Like we talked about in the beginning, what is your why? And a huge one is my family. And so I have it on my screen so that I can see it every single day. And then also I create a vision board of what those goals look like. So a few of them, like in the center of my vision board is my family. One on the top right is a trip to Bali, going out there, owning apartment buildings, having a clear vision. On the bottom right, all those hands together is networking and working together with a team. The bottom is being on bigger pockets. And so I achieved that last year, going on a cruise with my family as well, and having a really strong relationship with me and my husband on that other picture. So it doesn't only have to be financial goals. It should be, several goals that will help you keep a balanced life while you scale and while you grow. Because we all know money isn't the most important thing, but it will help us get to where we want to go.
Yep, definitely. Here we have, even though Zasha does the vision, and I mean, I am not as good as putting all of that together on a scrapbook like she is. We write them down, but she also does write them down there. So you'll see the goal board. And like I had said, you kind of section them off, and that helps you kind of keep on track with each goal and each so that accomplishes your overall vision. So consider diagrams, charts, vision boards, whatever helps you keep it all tangible so that it's an easier grasp for you. Remember that you creating a vision is it's an ongoing process. So it's gonna take a lot of refining, and that's okay. So maybe your goal is one thing, but your overall vision, maybe you have to kind of make adjustments along the way so that you can make sure you're getting those steps. And sometimes you accomplish steps faster. And those are all okay. You want to be conscious and reflect and make sure you're adapting to the circumstances. That way, nothing feels overwhelming and you don't go off track. This will help you identify when new opportunities arise to accomplish your goals. For us, we have multiple boards in our house, in our office, and this is just one of them that we did together. And it kind of goes into a little bit of everything with giving back. Our biggest was, at the end of the day, why? Why do you want to not work? Why do you want more time? And of course, it's always, freedom, time freedom. But money is just a tool to get you the things that you want at the end of the day. So really digging deep into all of that and putting it out will help you, and it'll remind you like of the things that drive you and those passions.
Well, and a few of the action steps that we wanted to go over that really helped us was getting an accountability partner. Even like she mentioned, like it's easy to go back to the gym because we always have that aspiration in the beginning of the year. So getting an accountability partner, I feel like a lot of times it's better to have someone in person, but there's also virtual, or if you join groups that you're in, pick someone in that group that you know is motivated, that you know takes action, and get around that person. You can also set reminders and timelines for the action steps that you're going to take. So we utilize Slack and Asana a lot. In Asana, you can set reminders for what you're supposed to do, and definitely put each individual task on there and get those notifications when something is due. And for me as well, I use the reminders on my phone. Like I mentioned before, everybody always has their phone. But if you don't put it in there, then it's less likely that you'll actually remember to do it unless you're very consistent with it. Another thing that has helped me is putting it in a journal. So I use, I don't know if I have it with me right now, but I use a Brandon Turner's intention journal here. And what it does is it lays out steps to do every day. It helps you time block, do action steps, set your goals. And every morning you're supposed to get up and write it in. Now, granted, we're only human, but it helps you put into perspective not only the top 3 things you got to get done for business, but the top 3 things that you have to get done in general to achieve whatever goal it is for yourself, physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially. And so what helps you also tap into that is listening to podcasts, reading books, being on this webinar, educating yourself. And then also attending meetups and being around other people that are doing it will help you to keep that motivation to know, one, that you can do it because all these other people around you are doing it, but 2, to help keep things in perspective and like in your daily life that you never thought of before. So every time I go to an event or a mastermind, I meet someone who might change, the trajectory of my life. I met Harmony and Emma and Chris for the first time. Well, we met in person, me and Harmony, but I met other people that I partnered with online at virtual meetups. So you never know who you're going to meet by putting yourself out there. And I know it's uncomfortable, especially if you're just starting off in something new, but don't worry because you can just start off listening and eventually, you can start networking or reaching out to people and they will remember you because you've been to multiple meetings or they've seen your face before. And when you're talking to people about your goals, talk about, daily, mention it in conversation. Yeah, my goal is to raise, $10 million this year for my fund. And so the more you say it, the more you put it out there, I feel like the more it will happen, but you also have to take action. And so these are some of the steps that helped us along the way. But definitely the next one is going to be the biggest one for me and Harmony.
Definitely. This is huge for us, time management. I mean, I don't know about everyone else. When I was working my W 2, I feel like I didn't have enough hours in my day and there wasn't enough of Harmony to go around. So finding time and space to get things done. If I was up early to drive the kids to school before work, you listening to something, especially when I was in school, you're trying to find any kind of time in between to get things done. So really identify when you can and how many hours you need to dedicate to different things. If it's work, how many hours a week and how many hours a day, break it down with your kids, at home life, making meals, all of that. You need to really be honest with yourself, breaking down your time and finding those opportunities to be able to do other things in sharing that time with it. So for me, it was um, waiting for my kids at practice and listening or reading and doing different things like that. You definitely want to prioritize that list. um, Family is huge for us, right? Especially as moms. I had my husband living on another island. I didn't really have him to rely on, so I really had to prioritize my kids first. However, I found those moments while they were at practice. That's when I got to do some homework. That's when I got to really get into the things that I needed to, that I didn't feel like I had enough hours in my day to get done. We always say create a daily scorecard. And those are the things, and it's kind of like a to do list, but it's a more repetitive. There's all the different things that you got to get done every day. In addition, you're prioritizing that. And then you're adding those action steps with it. You want to make sure you're utilizing tools that you need to get all of it done. For me, yes, I'm huge on Google with my calendar and it looks crazy. It looks like a hot mess, but there's color and there's organization to it for me. I also still like to be old school. I keep a daily checklist of the added tasks that are outside of my scorecard that you kind of get added onto your day. I want to make sure I don't miss anything else in between. And then I also do carry a planner. So I do a small little purse planner that I want to make sure I have it everywhere so I don't miss something, because to me, I want to make sure I'm accomplishing all of my goals and my action steps, and I keep that priority list going so I don't forget anything. I know Zasha likes to get up early to do more, get things done earlier on. So she'll wake up extra early, and I mean, she'll give up her sleep to make sure that she has her time with her kids and doing the family things that she wants to do to still be able to accomplish her goals in her business and things like that. Um, I guess ultimately you got to question yourself. How many streams of income do you have and who controls that? When you're looking at your goals and you're evaluating everything and making your action steps with your vision plans, you want to see, because that's going to play a huge factor for you. Who controls your income? How many streams of income do you have? That way you can try to see where you can start to invest in yourself, invest in your time.
Yeah, and like she mentioned, if you say, well, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to do that, it just depends on what you're prioritizing your time on. And for me, I was like, I don't have time, but it's true. You may not have time while you're awake. Well, get up earlier and get less sleep. Or if you're a night owl, get less sleep after the kids are down. You still have time. You just will be probably tired, but I think all in all, with time management, it just comes up to like, what are you willing to sacrifice in the short
Yes.
amount of time? Because your life isn't always going to look like that. But the more chances of you of succeeding at your goals, the more you'll have to give up just in that small interim.
It's funny because you think about, oh my gosh, I got to sacrifice this or sacrifice that. And when I think back to the things that I did when my kids were younger, I was like, I don't even know where I found the energy to do these things. I was in school, I was working full time. I had them in sports after school, and I had three kids in three different schools. And I volunteered at all of their events and sports and school. And I did it while my husband lived on another island. And it was ultimately, I sacrificed my sleep because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss out on those things. And I'm so glad I did, because the sleep I missed out on then my body doesn't know it now. So you definitely, sacrifice is huge.
Yeah. And even though you see a lot of people now, oh, I'm a millionaire and I got to this point. we can't share every step of the way that we struggled, or like even get across the years of, no sleep, of challenges that we've been through. But I think the biggest thing, like we mentioned before, is setting a goal, sticking to it, doing your best to kind of stay on track, and just giving you guys those tools. And why do we do it? Well, because we want to be successful, not only financially, but in all realms of our life. And that all starts with financial freedom. And so, with a lot of millionaires, they have multiple income streams of income. And for me, it was really important, especially I think COVID showed people that who controls your income? It's not you. If your company shuts down for whatever reason, or your boss or manager, fires you, you have zero other streams. And so it's very important to, even now, if you are working at your job or own a business, you have active income coming in, but that all stems from you going out there and getting the business, or trading your time for money, working a job. So it's essential for you to start thinking about, residual and passive income, which could be income from rentals, or investing in these apartment building syndication, royalties, and affiliates. Just thinking of other ways that you can make income coming in on the side, whether it's still semi-active, but also the passive side, receiving these dividends and interest. Like, a lot of people know, okay, I get interest from, maybe, your bank gives you 0.001% interest on your savings. That's very minimal, and that in no way can that replace your current income. But I think you have to think about, at the end of the day, how quickly you want to get to your goals. And so there is ways. For me, I quit my job as an engineer, thinking like, okay, 60 to 70-hour weeks, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to, go full in on real estate. And this is a picture of me at one of my flips, realizing that I just traded one job for another job. And that's why I got more into the passive side of it, investing in syndications. And by that, I mean apartment buildings, bigger commercial projects, because I wanted to be more passive and not create another job for myself.
We did the same thing. We initially thought, like I said earlier on, we were going to do fix and flips and have some long-term rentals. And I knew immediately I didn't want to do the fix and flips. It's just, I don't want to do all of that. And my husband loves to share the story on how I watch too much HGTV, and I wanted to be Joanna, where I was Joanna Gaines, going in there and pointing on where I want my crew to put things and how I want it done. And ultimately, I just knew that I didn't want to sacrifice my time. And once we left our W-2s to come here, we really, really had to be intentional with how we were going to do this. And when, being more passive, when we were essentially being the bank with the hard money lending, that made a huge difference for us right away. So I can literally invest and have my money working for me while I'm out in Alaska fishing, like in the picture here. So looking at even my rental income, when I have my long-term rentals, it is somewhat active still. I can't just go on vacation and like forget about my rentals. You still have to be actively involved, whether you're managing a management company or a manager, or you're having to manage the property yourself. I mean, you never know what kind of tenant, how much they know and can do. And honestly, for us, we don't like them to do the things on their own, because I want to make sure it's getting done the right way, and to ensure a longer life of, whether it be a toilet or a roof, I don't know, HVAC. There's so many different things that can cause you to be more active in your rental properties than you may want or realize initially. So with our fund, we like to build on passive income, and we get that through investment payments on loans and profit sharing through partnerships. And let me tell you, I have a lot more fun doing it. This is a part of what we say our job is, because we invest full time. And yes, we have a lot of hours that we're doing these things, but I can do it from anywhere, literally from anywhere in the world, and still have we work so hard for our money. And it's so revelating and amazing to find ways to have your money work for you. So right here, passive income, it's a process. It definitely is. Like I said, with my husband and I, we left our W-2s. We were solely reliant on each other and ourselves to get things done. And what did we want things to look like? When you work for a W-2, you don't have time freedom. You are dedicated to what your schedule is for them, and you have to work around that for that, that pay, for that income. um, there's some people who want 50-50, and there's some people who eventually want to get to 100% of their only passive. But then you have those, like, being in the medical field and I have sisters and sister-in-laws who are nurses. It's a passion. Like, that's a passion for them. They would love to have more passive income so that they could still love to do what they're doing for others and they're not feeling burnt out. So to have some kind of passive income in the medical field of, I want to work 25% of the time and 75% of the time be my own, then at least they would have that choice. Whether it be 50-50, I like to think that within our businesses that we own, sometimes they can kind of own you until, especially in a startup, you got to really put in that time and sacrifice to get where you're wanting to go. But you got to decide, when do you want to be 100% passive? It depends on what your goals are. When you're retired, what does that look like for you? This is what retirement looks like for us, because we're having fun. If you're doing it and you're having fun and you can do what you want when you want to do it, how is that not retirement? That's how I feel. If you're like Zasha and my husband, they thrive off of working. So I don't know that we'll ever be 100% in that passive unless, but you know what? If I can be in that area of my life where I'm like, I'm too old, I don't have the energy to go and do anything else, I want to know that I have that option. And that's what we work towards, to be able to have that option. I want to be 100% passive so that way I can decide what I want to do when I want to do it in other fields. And for us, my time freedom is huge, to be able to give back to other communities and our own communities and helping others become independent. So depending on what your goals are and when you want to retire, what will that look like for you? And who says you have to retire 100%? You're going to find another passion to go and follow anyways.
Yeah. Well, and type in the chat too if you want to be 100% passive or you want to be a little bit of both, because it's interesting as we have these calls with potential investors and see where they are. Because like Harmony, right? Like, I want to be all the way 100% passive. Some of our partners want to travel all the time and not even think about business at all, or making money, or just, have the freedom to do whatever they want. And so that definitely isn't a bad thing or anything like that. But I think from our perspective, you can do, just having more freedom, options, and choices in life is the goal. And whether that you be you working while also having this residual income because you love your job, and like Harmony said, there's medical professionals or people that are, working as teachers. Like, I know one of the investors that we talked to recently, she's a teacher, she loves it, she doesn't want to give it up, but she also knows that she is not gonna, make her a living for a long time, but she wants to give back to the community. So whatever you make as far as passive income, I thought, hey, I'm going to quit my job, I'm going to start investing, and I'm going to have all this income coming in. No, you're basically a self-employed person when you first start off, especially if you're fixing and flipping and you're constantly chasing deals. And so I think it's important for people to realize that you don't have to be all one way or the other, but you definitely, when you are setting your goals, know that this will just, you being here today, thinking about your goals and thinking about what you want to change in your life, especially in the beginning of the year, sets the precedent for the rest of the year. And for those who want to want to invest, that's kind of where we come in.
Definitely. We did have someone in the chat say that they are 100% actively passive. That's awesome. So here with passive investing, you can be very diverse. And that's one of the things that we're big on. You want to be diverse. You don't want to have all your eggs in one basket, because when that basket falls apart, your eggs are going to all be gone. So whether you have dividends coming in, whether you hire a financial planner to help you invest, whether you invest in a fund like what we have, there's so many different options. There are some requirements for our funds. This fund specifically, we have to have them be accredited investors. For accredited investors, what that looks like is if you're an individual who makes 200,000 or more a year, or if you're married and it's 300,000 more a year, or if you have like if you own property or a net worth of over $1 million, and that's not including your primary residence, then you can be considered an accredited investor. If you want to dive more into that and how to explore some of these commercial real estate deals, we will be taking a deeper dive with our partners and with my husband Chris and with Emma, our other partner. They're going to be exploring that in our next webinar on the 18th. So definitely stay tuned for that. You won't want to miss out on understanding, because it seems intimidating at first for me, who didn't understand commercial real estate initially. And it's not so bad at all. I mean, I'm still not a fan of underwriting, of course, but it honestly isn't that bad. And when you listen to Chris and Emma kind of go into it, it can be really eye-opening and realize, you know what, I think I can accomplish some of these goals faster if I start to dive into some of these things that they're looking at. So on the 18th, look for that. And hopefully we get to see you on that next webinar.
Yeah, and if you have any questions at all, here is our information. You can email us, go to our website. Here's our phone number. You can also scan the QR code up here. But we really just want to show you that set those big goals. Set those big goals, and you'll be surprised on how far you get with accountability, with keeping track, and definitely holding yourself accountable, whether that be, like Harmony mentioned, on your Google Calendar, in some sort of journal, making a checklist every day. It just depends on how you want it. And I've just spoken recently to a few people who are like, man, I've been thinking about it for the past couple years, but just seeing you guys, I decided to do it. So we're open. For any questions that you guys have about investing in real estate or just our journeys in general, we're a complete open book. And that's what I love about this of Rise Capital Investments and our partners is we're just, we're just everyday people like you guys that jumped on some opportunities that got us to where we're at. And we're here to help you.
Definitely. I mean, like Zasha says, getting out there with that accountability, even if you don't have someone in front of you, like she said, virtually or anything like that. And a lot of us have social media, or else you wouldn't be on here right now. Put it on there. Start finding ways to hold yourself accountable, because you have to be real with yourself. Nobody can want your goals more than you for yourself. So invest in yourself. Start off with those goals. Sit down and really go and dig deep into those whys. It's going to really take you somewhere.
Okay, now we'll go to if anybody has any questions.
I see someone just says that they're 50-50 short term and 100% long term. No questions.
It's hard to find this comments. Oh, right there. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So like we mentioned before, if you do have any questions or anything, we're an open book. We're pretty active on LinkedIn, where we'll post this on YouTube. We have a Facebook group as well. So we're actively sharing deals that we are working on. We do have one that we are still raising for. It's an RV park in Texas. So if you want to be a part of that deal as well, feel free to message me or Harmony or any of our team members, or hop on a call with us, and we'll let you into the details on that.
Yep.
But with that, we'll just have them, if you want to know more, they'll definitely be doing a deep dive next week.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. In a few more weeks. So we'll give you some time to prepare.
Yes. Thanks, you guys, for joining.
Okay. Thanks, Hutch. Thank you, Adam. Living the Life 808.
I know. It's a good one.
Kenton. Thank you, Julius.